Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside Out. We are live, and we're going to be talking about World Championship Wrestling, sanctioned by the National Wrestling Alliance, as seen on WTBS on Saturday, May 25th, 1985. Guys, it was a very interesting World Championship Wrestling show, and now there is a gnat attacking me over here at the beginning of the program. So if people see me doing this, I've not went crazy. I'm trying to get rid of the gnat that's around us. All right, now let's start it out right now. World Championship Wrestling. They went back to a very hot opening, if you call it that, Magnum TA with a belly-to-belly on somebody. I'm not for sure who that was. Do y'all know who that was in the beginning of this show?
I missed it.
I
couldn't catch who it was.
I'm thinking it was Tommy Angel, but I could be wrong about
that. Then it opened up with David Crockett and Tony Schiavone. They ran down this week's program. They told us that we're going to see Ron Garvin go against Ron Bass for the National Heavyweight Championship. And I didn't know if I could believe them or not, because last week they told us that Buddy Landel was going to go against them. So I was very leery.
It's possible that Ronnie Garvin was chicken of Buddy Landel and decided that he could not face him on television.
Might have been it. Or hey, Buddy Landel might have been going to win the National Heavyweight Championship that night. So in that television, and Ron Garvin just didn't make it there. To lose the title. But anyway, the first match, Ivan Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev with the Nikita Koloff went against Richard Dye and Gerald Finley. And Jack, something very interesting happened in the commentary in this match.
As a matter of fact, I just talked to Richie Dye, and I'm now forevermore going to be calling him Pat Dye. That's the way the announcers did.
I felt so bad for him. You know, he's over there, and poor old Ivan and Crusher Khrushchev not giving him anything in the match, just kicking his butt. And they couldn't even get his name right. They couldn't even say Richard Dye was getting beat up. Oh, no. They had to say Pat Dye, which I believe might be a football coach. I'm not for sure.
He was Auburn's football coach. He was the coach during this time period. And he was the coach of Bo Jackson, this is the same year of 85 that Bo Jackson won the Heisman Trophy. So there's your reference. I guess they, David obviously, and then Tony just followed right along.
Yeah, he never said anything different. But I felt pretty bad for him. And, this match was just okay. I can't say that I was impressed by the match. They gave them nothing, and both of them guys, they could have gave something, but they give them nothing.
Oh yeah. Both guys were great, and I never liked just the squash matches, unless you were just a beast of a guy.
What did you think, Rodney?
This was excruciating to watch.
Yeah.
Honestly, matches like this make you look bad, especially with the World Tag Team Champions. And in the end, they're there kicking poor old Richard Pat Dye, whatever his name is this week. He did die. Let's just be honest. That whole match died. And then at the end, they were still kicking Pat Richard Dye. And Gerald Finley just standing there with his hands on his hips like, nothing's going on. I said, no, just go ahead. I've watched what y'all did to him earlier. I will just let him. I don't care.
Yeah,
I did thought the Crusher Khrushchev's inverted atomic drop on Pat Richard Dye was devastating, to say the least.
Well, they hit him with the Russian sickle, which I think this, to my opinion, is just a choke code. They just might as well just choke the guy and ram him down.
That's the Russian hammer. Now the Russian hammer's the choke.
Oh, okay.
The Russian sickle is their gimmick infringement of the clothesline. They decided to, just to coin it for the Russians. So they do the sickle for that. And then the Cobra hold is still the Cobra hold. They didn't rename it.
Well, they should have called that some kind of Russian clutch or something. Come on, everything else is Russian. So
that's right.
But they put the Cobra Clutch on him in submission, and as usual, Avi Koloff, Crusher Khrushchev. I give that the dud award. I did not like that match at all. Tony Schiavone then comes out with Ric Flair. He does his usual I'm custom from head to toe interview, the greatest wrestler in the world, and saying that he can get any woman that he wants, just like that. Says how he said it. And he said, what I thought was funny, he said, how could such a man of himself be wrapped in such a good-looking package? What did y'all think about the interview?
Well, Ric Flair wasn't lying. His track record speaks for himself in that department. And typical and great Ric Flair interview.
Yeah, it was good. Then Rodney Dusty Rhodes comes out and does the interview. What did you
tell you something right now. When Dusty Rhodes comes out and do an interview, and when he's got the finger going, you know he's talking about something. And I mean, he had that bionic finger going for all to see nationwide on the program.
I thought it was did y'all think, though, that interview was almost a Hillish interview, though?
Oh, yeah.
Sure, man.
Of course, Tony was making eyes at Dusty's hat, so, he probably had it coming.
Yeah, and he said, you better like this hat.
He told everybody he made $500,000 a year. And anybody making that is good. He must have got mad in the back somewhere because he seemed like awful mad during his interview. I'm not for sure about that. Now, the Italian Stallion went against Terry Flynn. Rodney?
Terry jumped up and helped him with the bear hug. I thought that was a good touch on that. Always good to help your opponent beat you down. It's fantastic. And I think he should have. I'm hoping that Terry gave some of his money to Italian Stallion for that because it was.
Let me do my Italian Stallion impersonation
during
this match. Because he looked right at that camera the entire time.
I thought, again, I'm sorry. I thought this was just boring. He gave the guy nothing. And an Italian Stallion, everybody should know, give him something. If our guys have been beat up several times in matches, he should have gave him something. But he gave him absolutely nothing. It didn't get him over. It didn't do anything for him. I hate to really dump on two matches here, but neither one of these matches is really good.
I got more shovels out on the back porch if we need
them. Both of these matches that they've had so far had not been too good. Ole Anderson comes out. Ole and Arn Anderson comes out, and right before it, they're telling about anniversaries that they did every week. I don't know why they did that, but they would do anniversaries for people. And Ole Anderson said, I don't care nothing about any anniversaries of anybody. It was good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and great interview from Ole. He's so intense, and then you've got that cocky Earn following up. Yeah, it was good. Good stuff.
What did you think, Rodney?
Typical Ole was fantastic. Talking about Thunderbolt Patterson, loser leave town. And we have to remember something. In Ric Flair's interview, he's reintroducing himself to the world. All right. The ratings were dismal before they got there. I mean, they were awful. They were still number one in cable, but they were nothing like they used to be. So everything you're seeing, except for the first two matches, we're out to build the ratings back up. Ric Flair, again, introducing himself by the custom made from him. So Dusty reintroducing himself to the fans and possibly new fans coming in. So it was important. And of course, Ole and Arn same. And the reason for the anniversaries and stuff, they're trying to get people to tune in to hear their family's names on the TV. So everything was designed to bring a bigger crowd in watching, the bigger audience watching the show.
Well, here is the card for the Omni. They were all getting ready for this card for the Omni for June 2nd, 1985. The first match, Arn Anderson against the Italian Stallion. Bob Roop against Gerald Finley. Evidently, he would just stand there and watch Bob Roop beat him up. Ron Garvin, Jimmy Valiant, and Bud Sawyer against superstar Billy Graham, Abdullah the Butcher, and the Barbarian with Paul Jones. Tully Blanchard against Pez Watley. Thunderbolt Patterson against Ole Anderson. Ivan Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev against Dusty Rhodes and Dick Slater. And NWA World Heavyweight Championship match, Ric Flair against Magnum TA.
Yeah.
So we can kind of see where they were going on this television. They were building towards this particular match. And right after that, Tully Blanchard comes out with Stony Burke. Jack?
Oh, I thought it was a good match. Stoney was not bad at all. I remember him, and Tully gave him so much, made the match mean something. I wasn't even ready for him to go into the slingshot suplex for the finish of the match when it actually happened. So it was good.
Dusty Rhodes, I believe, was out in commentary during this match.
He was.
This was very interesting. This was a very interesting. After he gets Tully Blanchard comes out, gets in Dusty Rhodes' face, and he goes to do something, and Baby Doll stands in front of him, which was tremendous.
It was awesome.
That's what Baby Doll was so good. You don't know until you go back and watch it today. She was so good at what she did.
And for those of you of today's wrestling, she cut one heck of a promo right in Dusty's face.
It did.
It was great.
It was magnificent. But Rodney, what did you think about what Dusty said to Baby Doll?
Yeah, I mean, afterwards he said, I don't care how many cards and letters we get from the women's group, but if she'd have tipped my head, I'd have had no other choice but to slap her.
Oh, I tell you, I can't. Dusty was out. He was kind of. I think he was reliving his Texas Outlaw days on this particular show.
Yeah.
He was kind of mean during this program, but that was some good stuff. He said, "You don't touch his hat." I guess he reminds him of the Long Ranger. You just don't touch his mask or his hat or anything. So I guess he was.
Well, really, he was the balance to Ric Flair. He was balancing Ric Flair there.
Yeah.
What he was. Tully Blanchard this time. He was the balance.
All right, let me make sure I didn't get this stuff out of sequence. No, I don't think I did. Tony Schiavone then interviews the NWA United States Heavyweight Champion Magnum TA, who basically accused Ric Flair of ducking him and basically brags a little bit about beating 25 to 30 people, and that Ric Flair would be another one of those people that he defeated. Getting ready for that Omni show. I thought it was a good interview.
Yeah, I thought he did great. You can tell, or I can anyway, that his interview skills are improving. Week in, week out. It's like he's paying attention to Dusty, and then later on when they start doing stuff together, he really picks a lot up from Dusty, and I think ultimately becomes really good at the interviews.
Yeah, and I think the way he did the interview, he did it in a way, he didn't do it as a mean person. When he said he beat 25 to 30 guys, he's very humble about it.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, I beat 25 to 30 guys and you can live with it. No, he kind of said, I've done that, and now it's time for me to beat Ric Flair.
I've worked my way to where I'm coming.
Yes.
I'm working my way to the World Championship. And it was important. It's very important, especially because you're right. He had to walk that line. And it was perfect, the perfect tone. Getting ready, having that intensity, ready for the world champion. It's perfect.
All right, Rodney, next, Thunderbolt Patterson against Joel Deaton. I enjoyed this match.
This was what Thunderbolt should have been doing for the last 6 weeks. This was him. He lets his opponent do something to him, and then he makes the comeback. Totally eating somebody's lunch, gets him nothing. But here, the people were responding. He was able to do all of his stuff. Getting out of the headlock and all that. He was just perfect. This should have been him for the last 6 weeks, and I think it's been a much better, especially because he's going to be one of the main events coming up. Just perfect, absolutely perfect. Loved this match.
Jack?
Yeah, I can't really add a whole lot to that. I mean, it was classic T-Bolt, and everything, like I say, that we've been looking for out of him for the last 6 weeks finally came out today. It was like two different people had been coming in, wearing his tights. But this show, Thunderbolt was back, and he was back strong.
Yes, it was so good. Right after that, Dick Slater comes out and does an interview, and he told Tony Schiavone he decided he wasn't going to wrestle because he was unpredictable, and that's what he needed to be, is unpredictable. So he said, "I'm not going to wrestle today. I might wrestle, and he said, if I'm going to be unpredictable, people don't need to see me wrestle on television. They're going to have to wait until I get to the arenas, and they'll see how unpredictable I am." I thought it was a great interview, but he did say the only thing he said in this interview is that he's never been a world tag team champion, which he had been. And then Dusty comes back later on and talks about them being the world.
Yeah, so, Dusty fixed it. Yeah, he fixes it later.
I'm thinking, well, Dick, great interview though.
Yeah, but I don't know who called me unpredictable.
That's right.
But
good interview. Dick Slater always good. Yeah. The best matches ever seen Dick Slater in wrestling too. So I can't say nothing bad about Dick Slater. All his matches were always good. He always had good matches. Then we have Black Bart against Ricky Reeves, and I believe one of the best matches Black Bart has had on the television program because it only lasted about 3 minutes, and I think that was a great time for that. Don't y'all agree with that?
Yep,
I agree. I agree.
And I don't know if we can say anything more about that. It was one of his best matches he's had. Then he did an interview, and once again talking about the Hands of Stone, Ron Garvin, getting ready for the title match with Ron Garvin and Ron Bass. Rodney, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say he just also, painted a good picture for what was coming up later in the episode. Also,
yes,
not overboard. He made his point, but he kind of left that door open, and you didn't even realize it at the time.
This is true. All right, Rodney, national heavyweight title on the line. Ron Garvin defending against Ron Bass with James J. Dillon, which I never even seen James J. Dillon at ringside. Did they ever show him at ringside?
Yeah, he was out there.
I don't know. I watched the match. I don't remember ever seeing.
They were just glimpses of him. Not. They didn't stay on it. The camera never stayed on him at any time.
All right, Rodney, I'll let you go through this match. I thought it was a good match.
Yeah, it was very good actually, and because it was complimenting each other. And Garvin was getting all his stuff in. Ron Bass was getting his stuff in. But the key of this was Black Bart, and he had the national championship belt on at the desk, pretty much just distracting Ronnie Garvin through the whole match. Finally, the match ends. Ronnie Garvin and Black Bart's in the ring. Garvin is he's giving it to Black Bart pretty good. He takes the belt off. He goes for that big punch. Garvin goes for the big punch. He hits the belt instead, and now his main weapon has been neutralized. Is he getting ready for the big match with Black Bart? Thought it was very, very good, very exciting, and I enjoyed it.
Jack, did you like the match?
Oh, I thought the match was great, and that setup for Ronnie hitting the belt was so well done. I mean, Bart took some great bumps off of it, and it was into the third bump the second bump when he got the belt loose and was ready. So when he came in for that third big punch, he slid that belt up real quick. He hits it, and of course Bart still, he goes down, but he's done some real damage to that hand this time, and I thought it was just so well done, well done.
Yeah, it was good stuff this time with Black Bart, Ron Bass, and we haven't said we were very, very critical. If you've not watched our other episodes on World Championship Wrestling, the reviews, we wasn't very critical on their matches, but I believe this was good stuff by Ron Bass and Black Bart both. Very entertaining stuff. Then Ole and Arn Anderson went against Vernon Deaton and Mike Samati. I think they've wrestled them 22 times so far. Ole again, great match. They went after the arm again. They did the same, just this great stuff during this match. Don't y'all think so?
This was a total job match, as we call it. but it was so well done. The Andersons were so aggressive. There was no point in there that those guys had an opportunity to make any kind of a comeback. You believe this match. You believe that they could take these guys apart and put them back together and then take them apart again if they wanted to, because they were in charge.
Yeah, I agree with that. Then Ric Flair comes out in another interview, and he stays during the match with Magnum TA and Paul Gardner. I thought this match would go a little longer, 45 seconds. Magnum TA beats Paul Gardner with the belly-to-belly for the 3 count in 45 seconds. And then Magnum TA goes over to the desk jack, and a lot of things happen after this.
Yeah, it was great set up. He got face to face with Flair, and then Flair starts taking everything off, and Magnum goes to the ring, and of course then Flair gets in. I think Flair gets in first, and then as Magnum's coming in, he cuts him off and just beats him. But he doesn't stay on him. He gets his point across and he leaves. And he walks back over and he puts his ring on, he puts his watch back on, and he grabs his shirt and he's tying his coat, and he's talking about how this is what's going to happen anytime you get in the ring with the champ. It's great stuff.
Good stuff. And again, remember, June 2nd, Magnum TA against Ric Flair in the Omni. So getting ready for that matchup. And remember, what we didn't see was the local interviews that they would put into the show. And where we might see an interview coming up with Ron Garvin, it would have been a local interview, and it would have probably been talking about Magnum TA going against Ric Flair in the Omni. So always building to the live arena events. Then Ron Garvin came out with his hand hurt. He said he was going to be leaving to get the x-rays on his hand, but he wanted to come out and do an interview, and it was a good interview. Ron Garvin said he said about Black Bart. Again, selling tickets was what they were wanting to do, and I think that interview did just that. Don't you guys agree?
Yep, totally agree.
Yeah, it was very intense. And he told the exact story, told the whole story, said exactly what he's going to do. With or without the hand, he's going to be there. So there we go. Or well, not that he's going to have it cut off or anything. He's going to be with the hand. He just won't be able to use it unless it's got a cast on it. Then he'll use a cast, which is.
I'm pretty sure he wrapped that on. I think he probably wrapped that thing up after that. So he really did win the match that night. Then Buzz Sawyer went against Randy Barber. Hey, this was a good match.
Yeah.
A very competitive. Buzz gave him some stuff, but how he did that when he catches Randy Barber, not a small man, by no means Randy Barber, but he catches him off of that deal and gives him that power slam at the end of this match. All I could say is wow.
Yeah, and the thing is Randy landed exactly the way he needed to land, but Buzz was kind of, I don't know, he was all twisted up. But it was devastating looking.
It was. I mean, I thought, man, Buzz Sawyer was so good.
That just shows you how strong Buzz was, I really think. And then, of course, they were talking about Buzz Sawyer and Dick Slater teaming against Ole and Arn Anderson, whichever.
A great match for Buzz Sawyer and Randy Barber. And then it ends with the Russians doing an interview and actually talking about Dick Slater, Dusty Rhodes. And again, remember, getting ready for the Omni show. So it's all for the Omni coming up for June 2nd. And they ended the show just abruptly. All right, that's all the time we have. Goodbye. Very quickly. Over there. World Championship Wrestling. It was a decent show. It was a decent program, and I enjoyed it. And next week we'll be looking at the 7 days later, as seen on WTBS, World Championship Wrestling. I have not watched it yet. I will watch that tomorrow, and so we can be ready for next Tuesday night when we talk about World Championship Wrestling. Rodney?
Yeah, it was great. We'll be covering it all next week. I want to point out something. We never did see the unveiling of the gorilla. That was apparently done on the local market where we saw it. The national markets must have not, because it was not on here. So the national markets must have not had it. They must have only had it in the local, playing off of Super 17 in Atlanta.
Yeah, because they did show that on television.
Yeah, because I remember him standing holding the gorilla in the outfit, holding the gorilla mask, Slater. So yeah, they did it. It's just that on the particular video that we have, footage we have, it wasn't on there.
Jack, anything you would need to say before we get to the insiders?
Well, I think that this is a good point of everybody that talks about how great old school is, and we thought it is. Overall, old school is fantastic, but it wasn't always good.
This is true.
So, we had our down points too.
Yeah, and we talked about two of those tonight. And so we don't always, for folks who think we just knock modern day wrestling, no, we will knock it when it's bad back in the old school days of professional wrestling. All right, it's time to get to the insiders and see what they've got to say tonight. And let's start right up to the top. And Joe Bateman is with us. Richard Hood is with us tonight. How you doing, Richard?
Hey, Richard.
Kevin Barkwell is with us. Chris Vick is with us. Hello, everyone. Can't wait to sit back and listen to a good show. Thank you so much, Chris. We certainly appreciate it. James William Lawrence III. Hello, gentlemen. Sorry I missed out on the last couple of weeks. So that means he did not show up at all. I think, on those days, I think that was like a $500 fine.
Oh, that'll keep me in cigars for like a week.
There you go, James. I'm sorry. Bill Watts rules. We go with Bill Watts rules around here. And if you didn't show up at all, you got fined $500. So Buddy Landell paid to work for Bill Watts in several weeks there. Dr. Phil Bowgright said, hello, professors and my fellow students. How you doing, sir? Glenn Allen Shelton, good evening. Chaplain Freddie Rooster Rooper. Hello, friends. Hello to you, sir. And I think we've already said hello to Glenn Allen. Joel Bateman said, love old school professional wrestling. Chris Vick said that was Tommy Angel that he belly to bellied at the beginning of that show. Christopher Hughes said, hello, guys. Hope you're well. Looking forward to tonight's episode. Thank you so much. Let's see. Kevin was late. He said he's been looking for cigars. He's not found them. So.
Private message me, buddy. I got the hook up.
Dr. Flippo said, Pat Dye, AU coach, assistant to Barrett Bryant before, and Georgia football great. So they had him getting beat up on television by the Colossus. Chris Vick asked the question, who came up with the first idea to have job matches in pro wrestling? That would have been many years ago, and that would have been what's the guy's name, Jack? It's escaping my thought process right now, but they were called the Gold Dust Trio.
Yeah. It's not coming to me either.
It will come to us later, Chris, and we'll tell you where the modern day, what people see in wrestling today, who really came up with it. I don't know that he came up with it as much as he took it from everything he saw throughout his life and made it a little bigger. But I'll try to come up with that, Chris, and put it on a post. Christopher Hughes, at least Crusher could have given something. It's kind of strange. Usually Ivan does. Maybe he was told not to.
Maybe they didn't like Richard.
That could have been that. Joel Bateman said, love fine cigars.
I love to find cigars.
Leonard Gross said, good evening, guys. I have been told by the commissioner to keep my mouth shut. I will be suspended until January 1st, 2021.
How are you?
Tootsmont.
Tootsmont, yes, that is the guy that developed and Jim Barnett is the person who developed the first actual television in the studio wrestling shows. He was the one that kind of came up with that idea of putting wrestling in a studio. Jim Barnett, and if folks don't know it, he owned Australian World Championship Wrestling in Australia, and he also was the first person that was on the Dumont network. He had wrestling on there. It's basically the first person that had wrestling on national television. Jim Barnett did a lot of stuff. We're going to have to talk about Jim Barnett and how much and how important he was to professional wrestling. Kevin Penley said, Ivan Koloff was the best Russian wrestler, and Baron von Raschke was a believable German. That's all we need to know. That's all. I always liked Baron von Raschke until he started wrestling. But he was not good in Atlanta. Now, he was good everywhere else. He just wasn't good in Atlanta.
I was going to say, I saw some AWA stuff, and he was pretty good in AWA.
Yeah. For some reason, he just there was just, and maybe he just didn't like Austin Idol, but that's some of the worst matches I've ever seen ever. Austin Idol and Baron von Raschke. Whew.
Well, ain't nobody gonna blame him now.
Christopher Hughes said they should have put Stallion in with the Hill George South because Stallion wasn't all that. He should know what it feels like. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I'm gonna tell you, Italian Stallion was in. We were in Kansas City. While he was there, and they were trying to push him in Kansas City. I think this was 1987, and he was a pretty nice guy, but he just couldn't. Sam Houston was but the only guy there that could get over. I don't know. Nobody else was getting over. It was like crickets was being. You could hear the crickets chirp when they were out there. I think he was teaming with Todd Champion. Am I correct about that, Rodney?
That's the reason that there was a problem.
Send all cards and letters in care of, right?
That's all right. I'm already on the list as well, so why
not? Mickey Mayfield said, I hate those national belts. They look fake.
Yeah, they were cookie cutter belts. They all look the same. I don't understand that at all.
Christopher Hughes, Arn, in my opinion, is the best interviews ever, right up there with Jake Roberts and Jim Cornette. Yeah, Jake's wasn't just, he was just, you believed what he said. You just believed it. If he said he was going to DDT you and put you out, you believed what he told you was true.
Jake just didn't do interviews. He told you stories while he was talking.
Yeah.
And that was the difference with him.
That's Richard's on here now.
Richard is laughing about your imitation of Italian. Kevin said, I'm glad he wasn't French. Hey, any French people, we're not going to get that right. I'm going to tell you that right now. So
they'll give up.
Joel Bateman said, I like the big gold belt, WCW. Dusty could do he'll interview and still get over as a babyface with the fans. Yeah, he could. Dusty just had that way about him. Daniel Lang said, I still feel sorry for the poor horse Dusty had to put down after Baby Doe wrote an escape from Dusty. That is coming up soon on the show where I think she has to be a valet of the day for Dusty Rhodes.
We did talk about that during the show.
That comes up, and we'll be talking about that. That is coming up. Mickey Mayfield said, Jack, you need the shirt Magnum was wearing.
It wouldn't fit over my head.
Christopher Hughes, it's the best Mr. Harris has looked in a while to that point. Yeah, I agree.
I agree with that.
I do agree with that. We already got with Chris and told him we found out Tootsmont was the guy build up to the big show in the Omni. Glenn, yes, it was. Michael Barr. Hello, I am late. Please do not double.
I've been waiting for this.
A lot of people late today. A lot of the Bill Watts rule is in effect for this. All $50 fines and. What did they build on the Omni site?
Well, it was the Phillips Arena. Now it's the State Farm Arena now. They just tore the Omni down and they built another arena right on top of it.
And it is the they changed. So I'm guessing the State Farm Insurance is paid for the rights for the name.
For the licensing, yeah.
Michael Barr, intense like you get, Rodney, when the name Kevin Sullivan comes up.
That is correct.
Boy, I tell you, we've started something with this Kevin Sullivan. Kevin, we love you. It's just Rodney don't.
But I don't personally dislike him. Is professionally, he's sorry.
Michael Barr, they didn't notice your lateness. You snuck in the back door of.
He told on himself, though.
He did tell on himself. So
actually, I noticed because Michael's usually the first one to come and make a comment. So
this is true.
Yeah.
Kevin asked, if there was no Ole, would Buzz Sawyer had the push he got? You know, he did get a push prior to Ole. And was Ole booking when Matt Bourne and Buzz Sawyer were teaming in the Carolinas?
It's possible because Ole was going back and forth. So
did George Scott booking at the time?
That I don't know.
But now in Atlanta, Buzz Sawyer got his push because Ron West pushed him in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Augusta, Georgia, Columbus, Georgia, because for whatever reason, they did not want to send Tommy Rich and Buzz Sawyer to Ohio. Might have had a lot to do with the rental cars getting wrecked. And they didn't want to pay for no more rental cars. They'd rather
arrest warrants.
So they had to
they got out of Georgia and they lost their minds. I'm not sure why that happened.
But so they were left in there. So that was the only two people that was left there, especially in Chattanooga, because it was a bunch of local guys and a lot of instances on the rest of the card. And so that was the two guys, and some good stuff. Some good stuff happened between the two. Mickey Mayfield said, "Didn't Buzz say Bruiser Brody gave him those fuzzy boots?" I don't know.
I don't remember.
Michael Barr said the shows were like cliffhangers when they went off the air. Stuart Kemp said, "Love the recap. Sounds like it was more entertaining than some of the matches."
We try to add some levity and humor to an otherwise David Crockett promotion.
Daniel Lane said, "Do you guys have any inside information on why Buzz Sawyer got fired in the early 1984 when he and Brett Sawyer was the national tag team champion?" I don't know that he got fired as much as he thought he was going to go to the WWF. And I think he actually did.
Yeah, he did.
Didn't he last only like 4 weeks?
Didn't last long.
So I think he thought he was going to get a push there. And Buzz, Vince McMahon probably wouldn't have put up with him long. Vince was not one of those guys that would play with you very long periods of time.
Well, the history of Vince putting up with guys depended on if you drew.
Yeah.
Now, if you really drew money, he would put up with a lot of stuff. Shawn Michaels. But Buzz had not been up there long enough to earn that spot of being able to show out. So, that was out the door. And unfortunately, that's what happened to our Freebirds. Much as I love them, they went in partying and went out pretty quickly partying the same way.
Exactly. And Vince McMahon is the one that got rid of them. Michael Hayes has said it, that is who fired him. So now I'm not saying that Andre didn't get mad at him, but Vince McMahon was who fired him. Richard Hood, Buzz was an explosive and crazy wrestler. Yeah, you didn't know where Buzz was coming from. And seen Buzz a few times a little messed up, especially in Chattanooga, Tennessee. A few times. Some interesting stories on Buzz Sawyer. We may have to do that on a future episode and talk about Michelle said, that is Michelle, right? Yeah, Michelle, good evening. How you doing? Michael Barr said, how many fans at one time could the Omni hold, Rodney?
17,264.
Well, he just went down to the fours.
Wow. I was just going to say all of them.
It changed from time to time, but that was what was in the arena books.
Joe said, I wish old school wrestling would make a comeback. Stanley Nix is with us. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, Stan.
Kevin Penley said, Boutwell and Birmingham had 5,000, but Nicholas had record-breaking crowds every week. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Nick Goulas did some tremendous business in Birmingham, Alabama, no doubt. Who was the tougher, in your guys' opinion, Dick Slater, Buzz Sawyer? I say Dick Slater. How about you, Jack?
Dick Slater, without a doubt.
Rodney?
Yeah, I'll go with Slater.
All right, let's see. My aunt was a big wrestling fan, and she got stuck in an elevator with Buzz Sawyer one time.
I have heard this story before about Buzz getting stuck in an elevator.
It stopped between floors. Buzz had a fit. My aunt said he about scared the life out of her. Yeah, Buzz. I can see Buzz doing that. Buzz was a different kind of character. There was no doubt about that. Victor Nash. What's up, guys?
Hey, Vic.
Victor Nash says, I love to have seen a match between Hulk Hogan and superstar Billy Graham. Probably there's a reason why they didn't have a match together. You know, it's Daniel Lang said Gold Dust Trio, Billy Sandow, Tootsman, and Strangler Lewis. Yes, those are the three guys that kind of invented what we watch in wrestling today. Richard Dye, or Pat Dye, whichever one we want to say, said he kicked my butt all the way to the pay window.
And for those who don't know, Richie Dye is one of those guys that could have been pushed and done something with him because he was great in the ring, had a great look, and you know, kept his head straight the whole time I've known him, which is 40 years. You're getting old, Richie. Pat, whatever.
We're just going to have to call him Pat Dye from now on because that's what they called him through this whole time. And very good to see you, Richard. And I know you have been a little under the weather, and we hope you're doing well. And we wish you all the best. And really enjoyed him as a wrestler. He was very good. Christopher Hughes, I really liked Chris Champion. Yeah, him and what was the new breed? What was their name? Chris Champion and someone else.
Royal. Last name was Royal.
Yeah, something Royal. Sean Royal.
Yeah.
Good tag team. Didn't Chris Champion have a car accident, and that's what caused them to?
Yeah, I believe so. And then for whatever reason, Sean didn't cut it. I think he wound up doing some indies in Florida for a little while, and he just kind of faded out of the business.
And Chris Champion became Yoshi Khan, didn't he?
Yeah, he did several different gimmicks. Unfortunately, we lost him just a few years ago.
Very good wrestler. Yeah. We wanted to bring
him
in.
Really nice guy.
Yeah, we wanted to bring him into Continental Championship Wrestling in 1989, right before I think he went to WCW. Joel Bateman said Buzz Sawyer had many good wrestling matches and shows. Yes, he did. He had some great matches. Greg Hickey said, saw Buzz and Tommy Rich at the Talladega, Alabama High School Gymnasium. I believe we were there.
Yeah, we were there for sure.
Yes, we were there at that show. I think we were selling programs at that particular show. It was a great crowd. I remember that, and I remember selling many programs. Money just stuffed in my pockets that night, and I made the whopping $2 when I got through. So, Mickey Manfield said, "What happened to the family if Paul Jones promoter?" I don't know exactly what happened in that respect. We will find out, though, Mickey. We'll try to figure that out. Daniel Lang said, "Bulldog Buzz Sawyer to WWF because of Mad Dog Vachon." Michael Barr said, I can draw. I can send the panel some of my drawings. Great artwork. Well,
Send them
we'll
on.
see. Send them on. We'll put them on there, Michael.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll
Yeah, bring it on.
Darn, Rodney, I thought I was a wrestling nerd.
How dare you call me wrestling?
Chris Vick said, I want to see Brody versus Dick Slater in a match. I think they might have wrestled each other in Southwest Championship Wrestling. I'm pretty sure they had. Christopher told us that Chris had passed away as well. Kevin Barkwell said, was Freddie Miller awesome in person as he seemed on TV? I loved his hairdress when I was a kid watching show. Yes,
Crazy.
Freddie, spectacular guy.
He was exactly the same way. There was no difference between on-air Freddie and the one behind the scenes. It was the same. It was the same.
Tremendous.
Chris Hughes was saying that Chris Champion passed away.
Okay, guys. Is there anything we need to talk about for this World Championship Wrestling? And because next week we pick it up once again and do another episode of World Championship Wrestling.
I'd just like to mention that tomorrow's Memorial or Veterans Day. So to all the veterans out there, I'm one of you. Appreciate all you done. And today is the 245th anniversary of the Marine Corps.
Whoa.
So, our friends like Road Dogg Jesse James, he was a member of the Marines. And also to note that tomorrow is also the 245th anniversary of when somebody in the Army taught the Marines how to spell Marines. Love you guys.
All right, Rodney, anything we need to speak about?
I think we've got it all covered until our next event.
Well, folks, if you're watching us on YouTube, give us that big thumbs up and subscribe to the page. If you're watching on Facebook, like and share the page. Let everyone know about old school wrestling. We're talking old school wrestling each and every live stream that we do. Plus, YouTube videos that don't get on Facebook go directly to YouTube, and we've done a lot of good stuff, a lot of good videos. Went on Jim Crockett Sr. If you've not seen it, get over there to YouTube and find that on Jim Crockett Sr. It was a good episode. All right, on behalf of, and thank you. Before we leave, thank you for being a part of our show. We certainly do appreciate you being part of Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. You are our insiders, and we truly, truly appreciate you being a part of our show. Rodney, Jack, so long, and so long to you until we see you Monday, 7:30 live right here on Facebook and on YouTube.